Thanks for joining us. This is the Frame Review. I'm your host, Parson Brown, and today we are joined by Dr. Cie Scott, PhD. She is a media psychologist. She is an executive producer and an author, amongst many other things. And Cie, thank you so much for joining us because I can't think of anybody else that would be more important to speak to than a psychologist during this current situation.
If I can make anybody feel better about anything, that's one of my purposes in life. In fact, that's the thing I get up for in the morning.
I know the first time I met you, actually, you're somewhat of a Hollywood socialite. It seems like any time that I've ever been invited to anywhere fancy, which is rare for me, you're always there. So you're a recognizable face, and you have certainly been an influence and a positive energy throughout the entertainment community, and also broadcasted on all different networks for many years. Why don't you tell me a little bit more about
Sure,
what
I'll,
you've
I'll
done?
tell you the humble side of all that if you like, depending on what you want to hear. I originally moved to Los Angeles to be an actress because I was a model in New York and I was afraid I was getting to be a bit of an old model. So I moved there, decided that acting wasn't really 100% for me. I didn't feel self expressed. I went into writing. I wrote hundreds of commercials and they asked me to be in the commercials. And then before you know it, I was right back in front of the camera. And then I had a television show where I became pretty much a world famous body, mind, and spirit expert. And from there, I learned executive producing and I've produced many things since then. And I kind of cherry pick my projects. And I'm just excited to see you picking up the reins, seeing a niche where you want to jump in there, Parson, and taking the ride. And it's good to see you doing that.
I appreciate that. And you're a well-known mind, body, and spirit guru. That's basically like your legacy, and everywhere you go, you always are trying to help people and spirit them on, so to speak. So I appreciate that. That's a compliment. I thank you for that.
Well, I do try to help people. There is no question about that. If I can say yes, I always do. And one of the things that I'm doing right now to bring a little bit of hope, hope's not really a word I love, but possibility to everyone is I wrote a book last year. I had no idea how much it would apply today. Didn't know we were going to have an international pandemic. Didn't know we'd all be stuck at home with nothing to do. And a lot of people are just sitting at home drinking right now. And I'll be honest with you, Parson, I'm used to being out there. I'm doing the red carpet and having the fun and, going to all the events. And
I know that's how I met you, and then that was really one thing that I wanted to get your perspective from is
right.
it's a new
Well,
life not being able to be social.
right. And as soon as I had to stay home and cook for myself, I noticed myself drinking wine and sitting at home. I said, "Why are you drinking wine every night? Why are you doing that?" I mean, I like wine, and if I'm going out dancing or doing something like really fun to drink wine. But when you're just staying at home, and I thought, oh my gosh, a lot of people are going to end up alcoholics from this. They're going to be overweight. They're going to forget how to work. They're going to forget their work ethic because I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but a lot of times people in my business say that in 21 days you can form a habit. Well, in 21 days you can form a bad habit. And if you get lazy and if you start drinking a lot, whatever it is, if that becomes your habit, you're going to have to then kick that habit. So I've been putting out a message to people, let's be better from all of this. Let's not be worse from all of this because, it's going to be easy to be worse from all of this. That's going
Right.
to be, it's really
I
easy
think
to
that's I'm so glad that you said that, and I appreciate that so much. I'm sequestered, if you will, with a group of their friends and associates where we all work in the entertainment industry in different fields. And I don't know what I would do if I wasn't here in this place with a studio. We would probably go crazy and, as you said, like maybe like, just drink ourselves to insanity if we didn't wake up every day and try to do things with a schedule or have some sort of plan. We, even though we're not able to go on set, we created this podcast I called You. I want to reach out with, to other people and see what they're doing and see what their frame of view is.
Right. And, like I said, it'd be really easy for people to slide down right now. So it's really a bit intentional. We say affirmations, we probably adopt some mindfulness. And one of the things that I've done to make it easier for people is I wrote a book. And if you just go on Amazon.com, this will help you through everything. It teaches you mindfulness. It teaches you how to do the thing you most want to do in this life. Maybe you want your own TV show. Maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you want to do something creative or your own company. But whatever you want to do, this is pretty much a step by step. It's actually 3 books in one. It's on Amazon. So if you go to Amazon.com/author/CIE, which is my first
Yeah, of
name,
course.
C.
Well,
The book is
that link is going to be right there underneath this video.
book for free. If you're on the Kindle program at Amazon, you can get it for free. But to my knowledge, I'm not crazy, but if to my knowledge, you cannot use a copy of this book because it was a #1 bestseller the day that it launched, and it's been a bestseller in a lot of different categories. And people are using this for life because it will teach you how to make decisions so that you're always happy with your decision and you never regret a decision that you make. And
Oh,
your
yeah.
whole life is just decision after decision. Your life is the sum of your decisions. That's going to decide whether you're successful, whether you're healthy, whether you have great relationships. All decisions really put you there.
What was
So
your so I think that's absolutely wonderful. What was your motivation to write this book, and what really inspired you to share this message?
well, I like to leave breadcrumbs for myself, others that are trying to get unstuck in their life. And I know a lot of people have frustration, and I level of low self-esteem is a lot higher than what people really think it is. I think that a lot of people are struggling with their self-esteem. When you don't have guarantee you don't make good decisions. And when you don't make decisions, you end up really in a bad place, whatever that is. If you make a bad decision about relationships, you end up sad. If you make a bad decision about finances, you end up, broke. So I think it's important that every decision you go a bit ahead and you never go sideways and you never go backwards. So I tried to give people a tool to always get them forwards. And there is so much in there. And there are some free tools in the book if you want to write your own affirmations or whatever you want to do. You get free tools in
Oh,
there.
okay.
And affirmations are really important. Just by saying who you are out loud, and thank God I've been doing this for a really long
Yeah,
time.
no, I like that. I like that. If like explain for folks that maybe don't know like what an affirmation is and what that
Okay,
really means to the psyche.
I'll give you some examples, and you can even apply them in your own life. Start saying these things out loud like you really mean them 20 times a day. Just really give it all you've got. I find myself in crazy places in the world, third world countries all over the world. And when I need the right energy and the right frame of mind to get me where I want to go, to find the things I want to find, to get a taxi cab, or an Uber or whatever it is that I need at the time, I always say, I am divinely guided, protected, and directed. I am divinely guided, protected, and directed. And I can tell you, I've been in some very weirdo places in this world. Because I have this bucket list that includes every place on earth. So,
Well, that's quite a
you
bucket.
know, yeah, I've become a really elite traveler and I've really been a lot of places. And that's been a lot of fun. But at the same time, it can be very stressful too,
Yeah, well,
because
of course, adventuring is awesome, but the logistics is always when you're, you know, when you're doing
so,
it.
so getting rid of stress is really important too. So again, mindfulness, you want your affirmations, you want to do meditation, prayer. You can do, I just do universal prayer. I don't pray like any certain religion. I pray to the creator because I believe in the creator. Some people just believe in the universe. That's okay too. That'll get you where you want to go, but do something and believe in something bigger than yourself. And I think if you know that that is truly on your side, that you will do better and you will be able to move forward a lot better.
Yeah,
It's
no, yeah, that's an even higher frame of view.
Yeah, it's kind
Absolutely.
of key. And like the most simple of affirmations, I've been interviewing other psychologists and celebrities for over 20 years right now. And my next door neighbor in Santa Monica was a famous author. She is no longer with us, but she wrote a book, Feel the Fear and Do Anyway. And I loved her very much. And that's a great book, by the way, if you are on Amazon.com. And you probably can get a used copy. It's a fabulous book. Anyway, one of her affirmations in that book is, I can do it. And so if you just are always telling yourself, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, you will do it eventually. You'll beat down all the negative voices in your head and you will do it.
I like that.
It's,
I like that so much.
that's how it works, though. You
I
just,
personally I have a little one to myself where I'm like, do not be afraid. Anytime that I am
well,
starting to be afraid, I say, do not be afraid. Anytime I'm
hey,
nervous about, a job interview or an audition, or maybe we might flip over into a cliff, I just say, do not be afraid.
and you know what? That's okay. It's more, do not be afraid is telling you what to do or how to do it. But when you're talking to yourself, I don't know, you probably want to say, I am fearless and powerful.
You see, you make it sound so much more uplifting and positive. I took it like same sentiment, but you have a much better delivery.
Well, you don't want to say, I don't want to get sick. Don't get sick. Whatever you do, don't get sick. Because wherever, this is the law of attraction, wherever you put your energy is what happens. And whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, the universe is picking up on that and it's saying they're interested in sickness. Why is that person so interested in sickness? Or whatever it is that you're affirming that you don't want. So you want to affirm what you do want so that you're always moving towards that and not towards the thing you don't want. If you're driving down the road and you see telephone poles and you just keep looking at the telephone poles, you're going to hit the telephone pole. You know what I'm saying?
I gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So
like,
don't
well, and
try this. Okay. Person, don't try it, but just trust
no,
me.
I'm not gonna like go test it out.
You
One
know,
telephone pole, two
we're all
telephone
we're
poles.
all at home. We're all at home getting 3 weeks to the gallon. In fact, I've done better than 3 weeks to the gallon. So it's crazy right now. But this is just try it my way. Try it on. See if it works. And if you can see yourself moving forward, oh my gosh, try something else that Dr. C says. But
Yeah, no, thank you. Like that's a great frame of view and great. I think that more than anything, people need to be reminded of ways to bring down their tension, to get to reground themselves, you know, and because isolation is weird. Can we talk a little bit about like the current situation and everybody being sequestered? Like what is I'm witnessing what it's doing to people, and everybody's handling it differently. Like what?
Yes, yes. Well, please take anything that I've already said as a directive to handle staying at home and the self quarantine thing. You do want mindfulness at home because, first of all, you're going to feel alone. So, if you practice the presence around you, if you practice just knowing that God is, you will be less alone. You'll also feel more connected to everything because we are all truly connected. Whether we get to see each other or not, we are connected. That's real. Um, there are so many theories in physics that explain that. I mean, it's not just physics, it's metaphysics.
Yeah.
But what we need to do is kind of develop a discipline so that we're not sad, so that we're not lonely. So, like improve your flexibility at home, stretch. If you normally don't have the time, try some yoga movement, try anything, but stretch yourself more. When you stretch yourself, you grow.
I have found myself stretching more and in different stranger positions than I normally would when I had a more active life and didn't have to stay, you know, in the same place. I am just like experimenting with maybe my body will go this way. I don't like because I'm not I want to stay active, but there's just you know, when you don't have that regular routine where you're getting up, going out and doing an active day, you got to get creative of how to keep yourself moving.
Yeah, gentle movement, best way. But so I started working. I thought to myself, gosh, I haven't been able to sit in 10 years, and I'm working on it, and I'll probably get myself back there, just because I'm too busy. It working out is time consuming, as we all know. You want to get good results. I know there are people.
Right. Well, but you're a pro like, of work. You're one of the fittest people that I know.
Well, it's a lifetime of commitment, just like,
Hmm.
to your brain. It's You have to tend to it. You have to be intentional about your body in order to achieve great things. I used to do an exercise TV show. I used to exercise with celebrities. I did all these really fun, wonderful things, but I had to have discipline in order to do that. Who wouldn't have come on my show with me? And I I needed to walk my talk. And so by
I hear that.
practicing,
Yeah.
how do you get good at anything? Practice, practice, practice. The number one thing that you can do to become an expert at something is not to read about it or not to just know about it. It's to practice it,
Get in there and do it.
doing it. And story of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's brother got on the varsity basketball team and he did not. And then when he started to practice, 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 and he took it really seriously, he made it. And he realized the more he practiced, the more he got until he was, hey, I think he's the greatest basketball player. I love him, but I also grew up in Chicago. I was a Bulls fan before I was a Lakers season ticket holder.
Oh yeah.
So
There's a lot of people here in this. They're yelling. They're in my ear. I'm here in Chicago. Yeah. There's a lot of Chicago
it's
folks
a great place to be
in
from.
this
It's
building, and I
really,
spent 8 years there. Got it's my
yeah,
second. It's my second home.
yeah. It's a great place to be from, and it's a great place to grow up. And you learn a certain mindset, but then there's also something to be said for unlearning things and learning a better way to do things. So the things that work, keep them and apply those principles. But the things that maybe aren't working for you, you might need to try something new. And a lot of times people get stuck and they keep doing the same thing because somebody told them that's the way it works. And sometimes we just really have to make some changes, need to try new things. And so I'm saying find out what your shortcomings are. The first section of the book is just a book about your brain and why we make bad decisions and why we're wired that way. It's not you. The human body is wired to make bad decisions. So don't blame yourself. Just learn what it is that you're doing, and then you can get over on it once you know about it.
That's a really interesting frame
There's a
of
whole
view.
bunch of really cool psychology in the first section. And then the second part of the book, which is a book, is how to make a decision so you never regret your decisions. And so, get a goal in your mind. If you're going by yourself, get a goal in your mind and really go through the 7 steps that I laid out and really see how you're going to do something. If you go through that, don't do because it's not going to work. The third book really does tell you how to get bigger than that. It really gets around your doubt, your worry, your fear, and it shows you how to succeed no matter what. Because the truth is, eventually you can succeed. Eventually. Sometimes the stars are not lined up for you, but you can succeed no matter what. But you just really can't quit. And that was a lesson I got from my dad. He was a basketball coach. He was a college professor and a basketball coach. And I grew up completely middle class. And I learned from my dad, quitters never win, winners quit. And that was always an important thing in my life. When I wouldn't quit something, my dad would say, God, you're so tenacious. I'm like, well, wasn't that your intention? Isn't that how you
You
wanted me
told me
to
to
be?
be.
But that's how you get the things you want in life, by not giving up. And I'm not saying you
Oh,
want
yeah.
a relationship, be a stalker and don't give up. Don't give up on having a perfect relationship. If somebody says that's not the relationship, you got to move on, okay? Because sometimes just by you moving on, that person will come back.
Right.
Because there are a lot of metaphysical rules that are always happening. What you chase will run from you, what you resist persists. Sometimes you just got to back off and then just try through another door.
I hear you. So
So,
on kind of on that note, as we're entering, we're already knee deep in this. I'll say the word pandemic situation. I was told not to say it because apparently YouTube doesn't want us to say it. But this crisis that we're in, what do we do as a culture? Where do you see us? Like, do you have any advice for people moving forward? And where do you see how we communicate and get those valuable interactions uh, if we're not physically able to be together?
do what you want to do, just do it in a different way. We have to invent different ways of being, and this is an opportunity. And whenever you think something horrible has happened, just look at it as an opportunity in disguise. Come up with something new and different. I can tell you that there is I'm a television executive. That's how you met me at one of the academy functions. I don't know
Several,
whether
as I said, every fancy place that I'm ever allowed to go to, you happen to be there.
well, I don't know if all that's true. I'd like to clone myself and do more. I'm a very passionate person, so I like to get out and do things. But I'm just saying that as a television executive, there are people that I want to meet that you know maybe they don't want to meet me, so I have to invent ways to meet them in an original way that does not invade their space, that does not offend them, and in a way where they will feel admired and important, and maybe they'll want to respond to me. and it's a pain. It's a pain, person,
Yeah,
but
no, and like, let me just say, you are, that is an excellent, thank you for bringing that point up, and it's an excellent, we call this frame of view for a reason. Like, that perspective
yeah,
is something that's really important. And you are, um, if anybody just types your name in, Dr. C. Scott, PhD, or even just a little bit of
Allman,
it,
I'm Cie Allman on IMDb.
yeah,
I
you're
tried to,
everywhere. You're everywhere, and you work very
so it's
hard,
Cie Allman
obviously,
too.
to market yourself. And there's lots of people that are coming to the city right now. Like, I think about folks that are coming to LA that are totally talented and just really wanting to make it, and they got here just right in time for everything to shut down.
Oh my gosh, I know the studios
What
are
like,
shut down.
what do you think? Like, what do you say to those folks?
It's kind of crazy, but I was almost thinking today that people will find a way to absorb different forms of entertainment, and maybe the byproduct of all of this. So maybe, more podcasts. There are umpteen zillion podcasts, okay? But maybe those podcasts will start to get some traction when people aren't so busy watching new content
Well,
on
here we are
TV.
right now. We're one umpteen zillion and one.
Maybe this is just the way. I don't know. But the best thing you can do is accept the things that you cannot change, accept those things, and become interested and original in how you're going to proceed. And
Yeah.
that should keep you up. And if you want to have a martini every night or whatever you want, go ahead and do it. I know half of the people watching this podcast, or more than half, are
Yeah, well, those people are our demographic.
my audience, but I've got a lot of audience in a lot of other places in the world, including Australia. I mean, I have people all over the world that follow me, and they can't go out and smoke a joint. So I don't want to tell them to do something they can't do.
Yeah,
But
well, that's where we're at right now. Well, we're based in LA right now. We're sheltered
yeah,
in place. We're trying to be responsible. I
right.
had opportunities. I'm originally from Virginia. I had an opportunity to go back to Virginia a few times, but I chose to stick it out with my friends here. They've got an in-house studio. They've got all the toys and technology, and we all work in the industry. And we decided that we wanted to, as long as we could, try to make the best out of our time and be creative, to create content and to keep it moving, which is, so here I
Yeah.
am.
Like out of all this, as I was kind of saying, I hate cooking, and it would be really easy to drink a lot or smoke a lot. Well, I'm not a smoker anyway, but it would be easy to do that and to eat a lot of junk. And I just gave up sugar. I just said, okay, I have the sweetest sweet tooth you could ever imagine. So hard, to give up sugar. And I found a way to make my own desserts and my own snacks that taste better. And so for my show, Beauty and Truth, I've already got sisters coming in like Good D's. Good D's makes these fabulous mixes, and you just throw water in it, mix it up in a bowl, and put it in a greased baking pan, bake it, and you have something unfreaking believably great. So, I'm doing cooking segments now on there. I'll cook anything. If it's like 5 or 6 ingredients, okay. Don't give me 30 minutes of preparation and then I got to stand over it and stir it. That is not going
So
to happen. That
you're
is
not
not
into
going to
the
go.
joy of cooking. You don't like to go through the nitty
Heck
gritty,
no.
detailed
I'm the
recipes.
joy of eating. I'm the joy of
I'm
eating.
hungry.
I am the joy of cooking. So if you make it easy, then I can do it. And I'm making it easy for other people now too.
I think that's
So
great.
yeah, I invite you to go to Amazon, watch this new show. It's coming out at the end of May, and it's called Beauty and Truth.
Beauty
Also,
and
my other
Truth.
Beauty and Truth. Yeah, I have some celebrities that have been interviewed by me before that said they're going to come on, like Ann Drescher. She has a brand new show on
Oh, I
ABC.
love her.
I'm trying to figure out how to interview her right now. There are a bunch of people. I'm trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to interview them. But one thing I can do is interview people in Scottsdale, Arizona. They're a little bit more open, in groups of 10 people can get together. So if people are just willing, then they can do it. And so that's a
Right.
possibility. And then doing remote things like what you're doing now, that's great.
Yeah, of
Um,
course. And if you need just shameless plug, we're produced by Party Blimp TV, and if you need any help getting any of those interviews in this unique time, we're available.
Okay, well, there are professionals standing by. Everybody heard that. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You just never know. And, it's not everybody's passion to be on TV. It's not everybody's passion to do things a certain way. So if your passion is to do something like engineering or inventing or whatever, hey, now's the time. Just whatever you
Find a
love,
way. We just have to think
whatever
creatively.
yeah, whatever sparks your shorts, get busy. If you have time after work, if you're working now, God bless you. If you're working, if you have time after work, you can always start your own thing, and depending on what kind
Yeah.
of
Well, and we
business.
also like to on every episode of this show, we like to take a little second and appreciate people that are working who are mostly those essential marked essential employees, first responders, folks that are even just like at the grocery stores and all the things that people are still able to work but have to show up every day and put themselves at risk. We'd like to take a moment and just recognize them and thank them.
I definitely want to thank them. I think it would be stressful to work at a
Yeah.
grocery store. Some people do it with such grace and ease, and I just feel so blessed by that whenever I have that experience.
Well, that
But people in the hospitals, oh my gosh, my husband is a surgeon, and I know a lot
right.
of medical people realize I am in the field of healthcare. I'm in the field of television and all that, but healthcare is like that's the thing that gets me up in the morning, caring for people. That's why I write books. That's why I do the things I
Right.
do. With
So so you have a really
nurses and doctors, thank you, God, thank you,
yes,
hospitals,
yeah, absolutely. We
putting up with all of us for making us well. Thank God.
well, I hope especially many thanks to your husband. I'm sure that they're taking proper precautions, but it's just a really big and ineffable situation.
Yeah, I
Also, I wanted to ask you, like just to backtrack a little bit, what do you think it's going to do mentally to folks, to our general population? For example, I went to a grocery store the other day, and I go there regularly. I've got my mask. I do the thing. They don't always have everything every day, and I'm, patient and do my thing. There was a there was a guy in there. He didn't have a mask on. The the employees were asking him to please like leave if he didn't have a mask. He was screaming and shouting. He obviously had some sort of issue going on. I won't even attempt to diagnose, but he was
be a lot
aggressive.
could be a lot of things. I didn't see it though.
Could be a lot of things, of course, but that sparked me to think, is this the next wave of what the virus causes, what the insanity or
Yeah.
the mental breakdown of folks.
Yeah, I honestly think some people are going to handle it better, and you really have to work on your mindset. That's why I keep saying mindfulness. You've got to calm yourself down, And then you have to allow whatever blueprint is in your soul to come out. You have to give it some silence to come out.
So
So you,
if you find your own peace, because I believe I totally hear what you're saying. I guess what I'm trying to get at is if you can center yourself, then what's the best way you can help others who are not in the same space?
well, ask them what they need. If they can tell you what they need, that's great. Um, One thing that I do recommend, if you can go out and walk your dog, if you have a dog, give that dog more walks than that dog has ever had. That dog will be grateful for it. Gives you an opportunity to go outside and say your affirmations. You can easily socially distance yourself. Um, I can tell you, in by states to California, like Arizona, a lot of people are climbing the mountains every day. They're finding a lot of peace in climbing, hiking, doing some of these things. If all you have is a balcony and that's all you can do, get out on your balcony and get some vitamin E.
Right.
Um,
Well, I feel like that was people's motivation for going to the beach, but they just became so crowded, so that
yeah,
sort of I understand wanting to go and be by the ocean and feel open, but then there was just so many people,
yeah,
and nobody wants to, put their toes in the coronavirus sand.
right. You know, people are fearful, and I understand, but you really have to go focus on what you do want. Don't focus on the fear of the virus. Focus on what kind of a life do you want to have? What is possible? There will always be coronavirus or no coronavirus, always be things you can change and things you cannot change. This has been the way it is since the beginning of time. It's really important that we understand the difference between what we can and what we cannot change. It's really important that we just do the things that we can do. Invent a way to do these things, and it can
It's
be
a
done.
it's a challenge, really. It's a challenge on our creativity as humanity. If you dare to take a step back and look at it that way.
A lot of people, person, have gone out and found ways to help other people. And whenever you're feeling sorry for yourself, the best thing you can do is volunteer to help other people. That takes your mind off of your issues for a while, for however many hours or whatever you want to do, and it will make you feel so good. When others feel good and say thank you, the being of service is just a way to not only improve your own self-esteem so you have a better
Oh,
life,
absolutely.
but I'm telling you, helping other people, that's what life is all about.
Any I In
Do
my
it.
personal experience, anytime that I'm able to help somebody else, it makes me feel better.
Yeah,
And I
you
know
know,
that I've been so grateful to have supportive people throughout my life, and whenever anybody has helped me, I know how much weight that carries. It's
in normal times it's the same though. A lot of the advice is going to be the same. We just have to realize that we have to be a little bit more creative now. And some of my relationships have strengthened. I have new relationships with people that I've never met in person, and they're very deep relationships, and they may have
That's
only
a
started
really cool thing. That's
5 or 6 weeks ago. I mean, you can always develop relationships. Okay, you can always do that, and now's the time. Now's the time. If you're home, now's the time. Do it.
Well, that's sort of what we've been doing here. Not just with our podcast adventures here, but just getting in touch with folks that me personally that I haven't spoken to in years, seeing what they're doing. I haven't talked to them in forever. Just reaching out and checking in, and also regularly calling family members that I might not normally talk to on a daily basis, but just giving them a call. to see how they're doing. I think that's important.
If you go on Cie Allman or ciescott.com, you can see what I'm doing with the celebrity charities. You can volunteer for these charities. I've got some huge celebrities with fabulous charities. I have, Emma Stone, Pierce Brosnan, Liam Neeson, Lily Tomlin, all kinds of great celebrities that I've interviewed, and they've
Excellent.
great causes, and let it inspire you. You can either jump on with them and help them, or let it inspire you to do something great. If that's what you can do, you can't believe the doors you can open by helping other people. Open the doors for yourself by helping other people. It's just a naturally good thing to do.
Yes, yes. No, I completely agree. And it's refreshing to hear somebody say that. I know you're always like up to good work.
Right. In my documentary, I'm doing a documentary about bringing people together in America. We're experiencing a great divide, and I'm doing it with people. They don't all agree politically, but they all agree that we need to be respectful. We can't let this end up in fighting physically. What we have to do
Yes.
is listen, listen, be kind to each other, allow each other to be dignified beings. We're all divine beings. We've got to treat each other as such. And how can we use this? Because you remember back at 9/11, or maybe you don't remember
Oh, I
9/11,
do. I'm not
but
I was
people
there.
people were together for a while, and then they forgot. And
Do you
but
feel like
we're going to try to make it stick this time. Whatever good feelings are coming from this, whatever unity we have, and that, um, gosh, we have a Facebook page called Americans Not Americans. And if you want to go there and see the trailer for the documentary, it's up, Americans Not
oh, for sure,
Americans.
we'll share
And
that.
so, yeah, we're getting some fabulous people like Reverend Michael Beckwith from Agape, and
Oh,
we're asking the best people to come and give us a way to unite, give us a way to come together,
I love
and
that message.
let's use this opportunity for something good. Let's let something good come out of it. So, if you've gained weight, people, let's get rid of that now. Find a way to exercise in your home. There's a zillion ways to do that. Now we know.
Even if you
So,
come out of this fat, at least be a better
yeah,
person.
yeah, give up sugar. Don't drink alcohol all the time. Maybe one day a week thing. But see, stretch up and see who you can become, because
Right.
you're either constrict or you're going to expand. Let you let your goodness, all
I
the
spoke
good that's
to a high level government official, and the only thing that he was willing to tell me was this is a test.
oh, I don't like hearing that.
So, you know, I think that as much as that's not really doesn't sit well necessarily, it's an interesting concept to embrace that we are challenged to be better than we were and to be better every day and to be better to each other every day.
Well, when I hear something like that, I just say the serenity prayer, people. Do what you can. If you can't go to the beach, my gosh, get out on your balcony or go in your backyard and enjoy some of the vitamin E. There are three ways that you can experience endorphins, and endorphins make you feel good. They're rejuvenating. They make you feel wonderful. So if you haven't felt wonderful lately, love, loving yourself. You can hug yourself. You can just hug yourself, and
That's
you
a good
know,
point.
you can create a change
I
by
will. I'm
loving.
going to do it right now.
Everybody
Because
just
I
hug
have
yourself.
not, you actually just reminded me, and I have not had a hug in so long.
I know
That
we are.
felt so good.
I'm a hugger. I'm used to going to all these parties and hugging everybody,
I
and now I
know. Yeah,
know
of course you are.
it's germs, germs, germs. But things are going to be what they're going to be. So you can create your own see a life change by hugging yourself. And endorphins, like I said, three things: love, and the other thing is exercise. Get your heart rate going.
Okay. All right. So,
What's the thing? You tell me. This.
well, what I was gonna get at, and this is actually partially because these are questions that my mom really wanted me to ask you. But you liaisoned us right
You're not
here.
telling anybody what the third thing is.
Oh wait, what's the third thing?
It's chocolate.
Oh my God, you and my mom have conspired.
Oh yeah. Well, chocolate also makes your clothes shrink, so you got to be careful, not to overdo it. Make sure you do enough exercise and love if you're going to do chocolate. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a
okay, okay.
balance.
Mom, you're great, raising a great son here. What else does your mom want to know?
Okay, so real talk. Uh, t- we're talking about love. My mom wants to. She wants your opinion about dating during this crisis. We're supposed to be social distancing.
Right. Okay.
How.
Well, that's actually a topic I'm expert on. I have interviewed 20,000 singles, maybe more than 20,000 single people who were all looking for commitment: men, women, coast to coast, okay, from Washington, D.C. to LA. And I interviewed all these people to find out what are the best ways for dating and how do people find commitment and how do people avoid the bad relationships so that, you know, every time you do a bad relationship, again, it goes back to your decisions. You know, your life is the sum of your decisions. So choose the right person if you can.
Right.
So
So, I mean, are we in a unique situation where we're like, because we're social distancing, we can vet people more?
might, this might just be optimal. You know why? You know why this might be optimal? For all the women out there that get dumped every couple of weeks, think about this. If you don't have physical contact with somebody, then they will get to know you. And if you guys aren't meant to be, then you don't have physical contact. And the reason I say this, if the guy stops listening to you, ladies, if he stops listening, that means he's the wrong guy. Okay. Better, you should know this before you have sexual relations with somebody. Better that you should know. So use
So this
this
is a good opportunity to talk with somebody and get to know them
absolutely,
literally socially distanced before you. And you think that's a good
absolutely,
idea? I mean, is that how we should?
absolutely.
Is that how dating's going to be from now on?
No, I think we're gonna, if you wanted, and I know if you wanted to hook up with somebody, you could. I
Oh,
mean,
I know people that are
you could,
social distancing be damned that are, you know,
but
but
this is great. This is a great opportunity to hear each other because what happens so often is people want to hook up and then they realize they have nothing to talk about. So, and whenever you do that, it's really rough on especially women and it's rough on men too. And it doesn't really matter also if you're, whatever gender you are. Okay. I don't want to get into gender and possibilities of who can date who.
yeah,
Anybody can date anybody.
relationships.
Okay. Relationships in general. But if you're releasing, once this oxytocin thing starts happening for women, they get a lot more connected to people they shouldn't. So let's find out if that's somebody you should be with anyway. This is a great opportunity to start a relationship. It's a really great time.
I think that's actually probably the most grown-up advice uh, that I've ever heard, and maybe should have been instilled in all of us from the very beginning.
Carson, I prescribe mindless fun too, but I'm just telling you, yeah, I've had a lot of time to think about this, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, we've
And
all had a lot of time to think about a lot of stuff.
yeah, on the weekend, I just celebrated my 16th anniversary to my husband.
Oh, happy anniversary! And he's also a doctor. He's a surgeon. I've seen you guys on social media. You're uh, keeping healthy and doing facial masks and all kinds of fun stuff. It
Yeah,
seems.
yeah, yeah. Well, if you can't do anything else, go take care of your skin, put a mask.
Yeah, no, I think it's great.
We gotta do what we can do. We gotta do,
Congratulations.
yeah, thanks. But
Um, my last question, and it's another one just for my mom. Um, before we close out, is do you, in your expert opinion, think that there will be once cities start to open up again? Hopefully we'll get to that point. Do you think that there will be an increase in divorces?
yes, for people that have been avoiding it, yeah, I do.
Is that it's kind of like a hard, sad truth, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of times because people have options and they can get away from each other and they can go on separate vacations, they can work and do things separately, that may prolong something that maybe wasn't meant to be. And I certainly wouldn't want to say anything to perpetuate divorce or people
No,
splitting up.
certainly not. And
But
damn it,
but
mom.
yeah, yeah, I think it's possible that when people go, I mean, somebody that I talk to regularly is probably one of the finest divorce attorneys in Phoenix, Arizona. I mean, she's won like tons of awards. She's a fabulous author. You can look up her book. Her name is Angela Hallier, Hallier. Go look that up.
Okay.
And she gives fabulous advice on that if you were talking about divorce. I don't give divorce advice, I give relationship advice.
I know.
And
I just
I have interviewed her, though. She is just brilliant. And
I had to pose the question, not just because my mom really, really made me, but also because my mom really wanted and she made me ask the question.
okay, that's cool. I hope I gave you an
Yeah,
answer that
no.
agree. I think also good relationships can come out of this too and strengthened bonds. So you could strengthen your bonds, you could tear them down just by not getting along. But we really need to be compassionate. If you're with the right person, please give this person a little extra love and a little more understanding. We're all under a lot of stress. The monotony, my husband doesn't mind eating the same thing every night. And on Saturday, I told him, I said, I told you that I want to eat this other meal and you were going to have to prepare it. There are certain that he prepares better than I do. I mean, do all the cooking if he wants.
Right. So it's yeah, and when those little things start to, well,
Right.
it's
And selectively, he didn't want to hear me. And I said, this is important to me, honey. I don't want to eat that. I want to
I
eat.
don't want your broccoli.
I have so few decisions. Please let me have this.
I hear you. Well, I
Work
mean,
together. We have to work together.
and that's a great message. That's what everybody I think can, if everybody tries to invoke that type of sentiment, and as we move through this all together, I'm with a handful of friends, folks that I love to death, but we see each other's faces every day, um, and we do the best we can. So, everybody is in the same situation. We are all in this situation together,
Big
and
time challenge. We are challenged, but if we come out of this, we could be better. And if you focus on that and if you expect that, remember always, you don't get what you deserve in this life, you get what you expect.
I like
It's
that. I like that a lot, and I really do
I
have hope
hate
that
it
we'll come out of this
actually. I
better.
want to get what I deserve because I'm a really good person. But get what you expect because if you expect yourself to succeed, and if you don't expect yourself to succeed, get a book like mine. I mean, I'm plugging my book shamelessly, but I'm telling you,
That's what.
it is a
No
life
problem here.
source of entertainment and knowledge. And you won't give it up. You won't resell that book. You won't give it to your friend. You're going to want them to go get their own.
Yeah. Dr. C, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to talk with me here tonight. Um, you are an inspiration. You've got so much going on. You're one of the busiest, most hardworking people I think I've ever met. Even when we are in this unique situation, sheltered at home, you've still got so much going on.
My hat's off to you, person. My hat's off to you. You're doing your thing, and I'm impressed, and I'm loving it
Oh,
too.
thank you.
Love
We're
it.
just doing the
It
best we
brings me
can.
joy. It brings me joy. I hope that everybody can find something that brings them joy and enhance some relationships and maybe even enhance your finances right now. You can certainly enhance your health if you choose it.
One could only hope for any of those things. And
And
I
I,
also hope that as soon as it's safe, I will run into you in at a social event because I just want to give you a hug. And it's been a long time since I've been allowed to be at a social gathering.
I know, all of us. Remember, life is what you make it, and suffering is optional.
Suffering is
Reframe,
optional.
reframe it. If it feels like suffering, you're doing it wrong.
You can reframe it, and everybody can change their frame of view. Dr. C. Scott, thank you so much.
Oh, thanks, Parson. It was a great pleasure being with you. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, thank you so much. That was Dr. C. Scott, PhD. She is a psychologist to the stars, executive producer, author, and a connoisseur of the mind, body, and soul, and a dear friend. So thankful that she could join us. I'm Parson Brown, and you've been listening to Frame of View. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so that you get a notification the next time that we have a conversation with an awesome human being. Thank you so much.